When I signed up back in spring 2022 to take this course on Native American history, I was ready to do weekly quizzes, learn the A to Z timeline on Native American history, and test my knowledge on how to write a good research paper. Instead, I walked into class and was confronted by a man who told me he didn't know if he liked us yet. From day one, I thought I needed to drop the class because the class I walked into seemed like something I didn't want to engage with. However, I looked around the classroom, I spoke with my family and other COM teachers, and decided I will most likely never get to experience a class like this. I knew I was going to be challenged by the teacher, but I was challenged in ways I never imagined. I started to question everything I had been taught about Native American history, leading me to want to explore more of what I was now learning from my teacher, Mr. Madrill. A very close family friend of mine is Native American. I spoke with her one evening about her family history and her own experiences. With her permission, here are some excerpts from our conversation. For me, they highlight, in a very personal manner, the plight and realities of Native Americans living in a racist, white colonized society.
It's kind of a constant topic right now because my brother just bought a house on the reservation. And my mom is Creek and Seminole from Florida that was migrated to Oklahoma in the Trail of Tears. I was pretty much raised with zero reservation experience and zero native experience because my dad's mother was taken, her and her 9 brothers and sisters were taken off the reservation by Christian missionaries to be educated and de-Indianized, basically. But my grandmother, my dad's mom, was very wanted to be white. She got a college education. She married a white man. My dad was a half-breed. He was not born on the reservation, and he was kind of like a man without a country. So he was pretty fucked up. That's all I can say. He was very confused and very not accepted because he had blue eyes, black hair, dark skin, and he wasn't part of the tribe, basically, even though his blood was. So he had a really hard upbringing, and consequently I did. I mean, I someday will tell you, I don't want to now on camera, but I'll tell you what happened to my grandma, his mom, at the hands of her wealthy white husband. Anyway, my mom's side, they weren't connected to the tribe. They weren't connected to they were from Oklahoma, and it was pretty far back in time because even my grandma's brothers and sisters married white people, and they all migrated out to California. She was also one of 9, which is just purely coincidence. All this is coincidence that my dad was a half-breed, my mom was a half-breed. Neither of them lived native lives. They met in high school here in Indio, California, and fell in love. And my dad was more connected to his tribe than my mom was because my mom's mom just wasn't interested. She was the youngest of all the kids, and she basically lived a pretty white life. I was born at Kaiser Hospital. Very, what I would say, white. The only experience I had with that in school, like elementary school, was that I was really dark and I was called a lot of names.
Okay.
That was the only thing that my brother and I experienced until my parents got divorced and my mother took us to where she was raised, which was the ghetto, which is, a super scary place, but it's a step up from the reservation. Like, I've always felt all the cousins I know on my Native American side, I had it way better, even though I had it so bad you don't want to know. The reservation is really, really, really bad.
If you're Native American, you have to move to like a specific reservation? You can't.
No, you don't. Actually, you don't, but predominantly most natives do. If you're a tribal member on any tribe, you are welcome on any tribe.
Okay.
But they tend to stick to their own.
Do you have any more information about your grandparents, like getting pulled out and going to Christian boarding schools? And
It was hell. They didn't even know how to speak English. It was absolute hell for them. I mean, the girls were everybody was abused by the Christian missionaries. They treated them like animals. They treated them like slaves. That's why most of them came out so insane and fighting it and being members of American Indian movement. It was not a good thing. My grandma will tell you that it was. She's dead now. She just didn't want to be a heathen Indian. She saw in her mind, in her when she once said to me, the first time I was ever clean, well fed, and felt safe and proud was when I was put into Christian school. And then you talk to her brothers and sisters and they have a whole different story to tell. But she asked him one day really quietly and really sincerely and really to his in his eyes, she said, I know you're Native and I hope it's okay. I just want to ask you, do you ever get, bloodthirsty?
how do you like, what kind of question is that? Like, the only way I could take that question is you being sarcastic.
No, she was totally serious and curious.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And your brother, he just laughed.
Oh yeah. He has the best sense of humor. He doesn't take anything personally. I basically never talked about it because it was kind of like, you got to remember I'm 62 and growing up in school, I was called a lot of names. It was not a good thing to be Native, but until Dances with Wolves in the 80s, when that movie came out, people wanted to touch me. Like, oh, are you really Indian? It's just so stupid and so corny. But it was the shift that happened in my lifetime. That movie shifted my ability. That, and then the next thing that shifted it at the same time was meeting and working with Europeans. That's how I met Ingemar, but I was working with a Swedish girl who basically told me more truth about American history than America at my school never did. So everything started changing for me in the 80s, and I started like wanting to know more about my Native culture. And I ended up, actually working with a shaman for years. And he's back on the res now, but I just didn't have that exposure as a kid, and only as becoming into my adulthood was I ever caring about it,
Now as the semester has come to an end, I am grateful I stayed. I have been able to share what I have learned with my family, friends, and other COM teachers. I have learned about religions and family cultures I did not know about before. I have watched new videos and heard peers' opinions, which I would have not gotten to learn about if I did not stay. I was opened up to a close family friends world I did not know existed. I do not believe I am the same person I was 115 days ago, and I am better for it. My mindset and strength have grown, and some of my underlying biases have been uncovered. I hope that each day I am able to use the information I have learned to make the world I live in a better place. Each day is like an interview, but it is I who gets to choose how my interview goes. There are many resources out there that are helping bring awareness to help and protect Indigenous cultures, empowering them in the direct application of traditional knowledge and practices on their ancestral lands. I hope that by just taking this class, people feel empowered moving forward to spread awareness about information that is not accurate. I'd like to end with this quote I found in an article written by our teacher, Mr. Madro. Education is not the enemy. A weak or broken heart is the enemy. Stay strong in your love to the Creator, and you will be strong forever.